Hi guys, Ranger Stu here and welcome to week 11 of Ranger Stu's Virtual Zoo. And this week we are learning all about prehistoric animals. Now at the zoo we don't have any prehistoric animals, but we do have relatives of those prehistoric animals. And on Monday, on my blog, I mentioned 3 species that lived millions of years ago. And we are going to meet relatives of those animals that are alive today. The first one is the armadillo. So this creature here is Flavia, and she is a free-banded armadillo. And free-banded armadillos are the only armadillos that can roll into a ball. So their head goes there, their tail goes there, and there are no gaps whatsoever. Now Flavia is only sitting this way, she doesn't really curl up, to be honest. But in the wild there'll be no gaps, and this is to protect them. They have this hard shell, and this shell is made out of bone and skin. And it builds up over time to create this hard shell. Sorry, I made you jump then, didn't I? It builds up over time to create this hard shell, and it means that predators can't break through that shell. Or actually, it means there's only 3 predators that can break through that shell. And that is a puma and a jaguar. And they just bite through that shell, poor little thing. And the other one, sadly, is a human. And humans actually shoot them, poor little things. Sometimes, though, they can actually survive being shot. And that brings us to our prehistoric animal, because our prehistoric animal, the Glyptodon, actually ended up extinct because of humans. So this is what a Glyptodon looks like.
This is a model of a Glyptodon rather than the fossil remains, but I thought I would use it anyway as it's quite a good representation of a Glyptodon, and it looks to be smiling too.
So as you can see, the Glyptodon was massive. It was about the same size as a small car, and it lived between 2.5 million years ago and 10,000 years ago, which means that it was alive during the times of humans. And unfortunately, scientists believe that Glyptodons were actually hunted to extinction. They're actually killed by humans, hunted for food. And this shell, as we said, was made out of bone and skin. The Glyptodon shell would have been massive. However, humans, being intelligent animals, were able to break through that shell and sadly hunt them to extinction. But we do still have modern day armadillos such as Flavia, and let's hope that we can keep this species alive. These guys are vulnerable in the wild, and as we say, people do actually hunt them. So fingers crossed these guys stay off the critically endangered list, and maybe there'll be a bit of a future for these guys. So we're going to move on to our next prehistoric animal, and that is the Titanoboa.
Our snakes were fed yesterday, so I'm unable to handle Reggie, our boa constrictor. So here he is inside of his vivarium. And he is a relative of the Titanoboa that lived 66 to 56 million years ago. And this is what a Titanoboa looked like. And here is a Titanoboa just casually munching a crocodile, as you do. Look at the size of it. This is Kendra, our Burmese python, and she is the largest snake that we have at the zoo. She is nearly 4 meters long and weighs 44 kilograms. But that is nothing compared to the Titanoboa that grew to 13 meters long and weighed 1,135 kilograms. Amazing.
From 345 million years ago all the way through to about 295 million years ago, lived an animal named the Arthropleura. And the Arthropleura, from now on, I shall call the giant millipede, much because I find it really hard to pronounce. This is what a Arthropleura looks like.
Here is an artist's impression of Arthropleura with a handy size comparison guide in the bottom right hand corner so you can see how big it was compared to a human.
So the animal that I have in my hand right now is a giant millipede, and it is one of the largest millipedes alive today.
They are sometimes called the Mombassan train millipede or shongololo. And believe it or not, this millipede will grow to about 30 centimetres long. But the millipedes that lived hundreds of millions of years ago grew to about 2.5 metres long. How crazy is that? And this is because there was more oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. And this means that a creepy crawly, an invertebrate like this, could grow a lot bigger. There were giant dragonflies, giant centipedes, giant scorpions, giant millipedes, just like this guy here. And I should have told you, she's called Millie, obviously, the perfect name for her. So millipedes alive today share massive similarities with millipedes that lived millions of years ago. They have all these legs. They don't have 1,000,000 legs, by the way. They have about 200, 250 legs. And they have these awesome antennae. And these antennae they use sort of feel their way around. They're looking for food. And by the way, a food for a millipede, they are herbivores. So millipedes eat rotting fruit and veg, whereas centipedes are carnivores, and carnivores eat meat. So if this was around during 300 million years ago, this would have been about 2.5 metres long. It would not be eating other animals, but it would eat rotting vegetation. How cool is that? So I hope you enjoyed meeting the relatives of all 3 of those prehistoric animals. How cool is that? On Monday we will start our next vlog, which will be all about paws and claws. So stay tuned for that one. But in the meanwhile, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.